Hello and welcome to this tutorial where I'll be covering how I created this mock film trailer called Requiem for Earth using AI art and video tools such as Midjourney, Runway and Pika Labs to create this amazing film trailer that wouldn't be possible even a few months ago. So there's a lot to cover in this tutorial, and first of all we're going to go to ChatGPT to generate our story and our shot list. And then we're going to use that shot list and go into Midjourney where we're going to generate our images. And then we're going to go to Pika and take our images and then create clips and videos and animations out of that. And then we're also going to use Runway, and because for this film I used two platforms, Runway and Pika. And then we're going to go to Acoust where I generated the narration and the characters. And then we're going to go to Topaz where we're going to upscale that footage and make it a higher resolution. And then we're going to go into our editing suite where we're going to put it all together into our final film. And then we're going to give you an overview, breakdown and ideas on how to improve and make your short film or your film trailer a bit better and more professional. So stick around and let's get into the tutorial. So now we're going to write the story, and I'm going to use ChatGPT, and what we're going to do is prompt the ChatGPT to write a short story. Now there's a couple of ways we're going to go about this, and the other way you might prefer the other method, but this way you can create a short story and you can write a mini story first of all and then create your shot list out of that story. And the reason why you might do this is because with the creative process when writing, you can use descriptive language to describe things and expand using story writing concepts that you may already be aware of, and you can really flesh out your ideas and your characters and get that visual imagery in your head before you start generating the images. And this is all going towards creating your shot list. If you already have a story in mind, then all you need to do is convert your current story into a shot list. And so you may already have stories ready to go, and if you don't, that's fine. All you need is a concept, an idea, an image or something to just start writing, and ChatGPT can help you with this process. So for this one, I asked it to write a short story based on my concept, and it came back with this short story. And then from there, I said, well, from the story that you've written, I want to create a mock film trailer using AI generated images. And then I want to bring them together, edit them, and I want you to create a shot list for my trailer focused on imagery, making an engaging, original and imaginative trailer. And so there it generated the shot list for my trailer. And this is by no means comprehensive. You will have to keep iterating. The limitations of ChatGPT is that it won't generate hundreds of images and ideas. It will create sort of about 15 to 20 images, and some of them may be slightly repetitive in style or themes. And so what I tend to do is then from there just prompt again to say, can you create some more images and more shots, making them even more engaging and even more imaginative. And so the next step, it basically is just skipping the part where you write a story. What we're going to do here is prompt it the same way and then just say, can you write my shot list from that shot there? And what it's done, and I've also added, can you make sure you have a beginning, middle and end, and leave the audience wanting more with a cliffhanger. And it's important that the story has a hook to bring the audience to want more, to want to watch the actual film. So maybe, who knows, you might be able to find some financing to get this project off the ground, that this passion project that you're looking to create. Now let's talk about creating these images in Midjourney. As you can see here, and this is my screen sharing of my Midjourney account. These are all the images that I've created. I created lots and lots of images, and a lot of the time in Midjourney, you'll prompt something, you have its idea, but it doesn't come out as you expect. And so there are ways in which you can generate different images and merge them together, and you may already know about this technique. But essentially, so here you should be seeing Discord, and this is your primary way of creating your images, because currently, as of January 2024, you cannot create images in Midjourney. You have to go to Discord. So for this one, I've said a spaceship launching from ground, zombies hanging onto outside, undulating sand-consuming city, destroyed buildings, night photography, cinematic, motion blur, and then I could be aspect ratio and version 6, because as of January 2024 we're in version 6, and then style raw to give a more photographic feel to those images. So I think this is the one that I ended up using in the film. So what to do if you ended up with an image that you like but it's not quite how you prompted it. Let's say, for instance, I had the zombies hanging onto the outside. Now, I actually found that this prompt using the zombies hanging onto the outside was quite difficult to generate. The language wouldn't pick that up and put that into the imagery. You could import other images into Midjourney to describe, and essentially what you do is you open the image up like this, and you click copy link, and you copy this link, and then when you do your prompt, when you say imagine prompt, and then you just paste that into the bottom. And then what that'll do is you can create then another similar image, and I'll just create one here for you now. And so I'm going to do a car launching from the ground and zombies, and just see what this come out with. So here we are, we've created these images from that prompt where I've changed the spaceship into a car. And so as you can see, the style is very similar. It's created very similar colors palette, it's created very similar backdrop, but it has fundamentally changed the image. And so you can use this technique over and over again. You can use multiple images in the same prompt by using the same copy and paste link over and over again. But I would try to keep it only 2 or 3 images if you're going to use those links to generate the images. And for each shot, I tend to create about 15 to 20 images, and then I choose the best from that. And sometimes it can take about 15-20 minutes per image to generate something that I'm happy with to put in the film. And even then, when you go into creating the video clips using the AI video generators, sometimes the generator doesn't like the image because it will distort the image in some ways. And so you'll have to go back to the drawing board and think about how to change the images or use other images. So it's always good to have multiple images before you go to generate those into clips. It's important to ensure that all of your images are adding value to your film. They are telling the story, how you envision, and ensure that they are the highest quality product that you can produce with the tools available. Unfortunately, with AI image generation, especially video, there are a lot of distortion, and you want to limit the distortion as much as possible. And so when you are selecting the images, just make sure that they look realistic, that they are something that you think would suit the style of film. Now, you may be producing an animation, in which case you could have the distortion, and you could utilize those aspects of the AI image generations to your advantage. And so just remember that, and remember that, for instance, this image here, you can barely see the detail of what's meant to be the zombies in the middle of a city. And so it's very blurred, and I know that this image is not going to go well when you try to convert it into a video. So you've just got to bear all of this in mind. So let's go into Pika Labs first of all, and this is at pika.art. And this is a great image to video generator. However, currently in January 2024, although it is free to use, you do have the watermark at the bottom, and you can't get rid of that at the moment. They don't even offer a paid service, and I'm sure that will change in the future, where you can at least get rid of the watermark for your generations. And so at the moment in January 2024, you can use it and you can create as many image generations as you see fit. Again, this isn't going to be a tutorial on this platform itself. I'm just going to give you an overview of the platform generations I've seen and the bugs I've seen. So as you can see, as I'm hovering my mouse over here, I think this is the one that I used in the film. All of the images that I use in my film I upscaled. So everything I generate the image and I upscaled. Very few times I added more seconds to the images, so you can add 4 seconds, and very rarely I use this, and mainly because it distorts the image too much, and unfortunately I just don't find it useful. And this is one of the main issues with Pika, is from your initial image to the last frame of the image, your frames are distorted. Pika Labs gives you great motion control, and you have the motion control here where you can pan, tilt, rotate, zoom, and at the bottom you have a bar for strength of motion. Now most of the time I'm using a strength of motion of 0, and the reason being is as soon as you get to 1 or even 2, there's an increased amount of distortion. Now sometimes the 0 is not enough motion, however try 0 first, and then if your shot has a lot of motion then try 1, and if you need to increase it try 2. However, bear in mind that the distortion will increase the further you go up. And what I mean by distortion, I mean the character's face, the detail, the level of detail diminishes each and every time you run that image. And you can run the image multiple times and it may produce a slightly different result. You can see here the zombies are moving in a particular way, and they're moving in a slightly different way on the next iteration of that image. So just try again. If you're not getting success, then you can try prompting at the bottom here and doing a negative prompt, but generally I keep the prompts very short and to the point, exactly what you want. Sometimes if you prompt something, it will generate something within the image itself. It will use the generation tools. So if you were to put car in the image, it might suddenly pop up a car and it will look very strange and weird. So just bear that in mind and try to keep your prompts to a minimum. So Runway is brilliant for making sure that the details in your image are retained. It's a lot better at Pika in that regards. It will retain a lot of the detail. However, sometimes the motion of the image is a lot smoother, which is sometimes what you're after. However, what I do find is that all of the images end up being smooth and there's not enough motion. And then when you do use the motion and you up the parameters using the fields here, again I find there's a lot of distortion. Although I do like the versatility and the control you have on these images to get the motion, I do find the distortion becomes more and the motion is too smooth. However, I also like the motion brush. So moving around here, you can highlight a character or highlight something, and then you can, and only recently they've added the ambient noise, which just adds a slight feel for a slight motion to the object or the thing that you are trying to move within the image. And again, I like versatility. The only thing I wish Runway improved on is the amount of motion each the video generated, and to have further control, which I'm sure will come in time. So one of the platforms that I used to generate the narration, and I used a AI text-to-speech generator. The platform is called Acoust. You can use 11 Labs, but I chose not to use that. I used this platform instead. And this platform gives you a multitude of different characters, types of voices that you can use, and different languages or dialects that you can use as well. And also a male and a female version of those. And you can type in your text and then just click generate here if you want to generate your clip, and then within here you can just preview your audio before generating. Currently I'm on the free version. I'm not paying for this at the moment. There was a certain amount of credits that I have to generate a number of clips. And again, I think for this one I used a bit of the ChatGPT to create the dialogue. So next tools that we're going to use is Topaz Photo AI and Video. You don't have to use these if you don't want to. However, I do like using them to upscale the photos and also the footage once I've taken them out of Runway specifically, because I wasn't using the paid version, so I wasn't upscaling using those versions. But even if you're using Runway, upscaling them will be using your credits, which you may want to preserve, especially if you're doing a large project and your subscription might be limited with credits. So you can just upscale your videos using the video upscaler. And also your photos, you can upscale them before you put them into your tool. And certainly when it comes to Pika, that has a limit of I think 10 megabytes per photo, and if it's a PNG file, what I did find is that I needed to convert it into a JPEG. I mean, you could do that in Photoshop, but I also like to enhance the photo and upscale it slightly just so it has a good quality. It doesn't need to be perfect and really ultra high resolution, the photo. However, just upscaling it slightly will give the AI a chance to give the best results for when you're converting that image into a video. And so the next platform we're going to use is the Video AI. And again, this has a stabilization effect that you can use. I mean, that is mainly for camera footage that you've used and it's maybe slightly shaky. You've also got motion deblur. Personally, I've not used that for the AI footage. And you've got the frame interpolation. I mean, this is what you can be using as well, because what you can do is increase the frame rate. So generally, most of the platforms that we're using will come out as 24 frames. And what you can do is increase it to 50 frames per second, and then that will create that smooth, slow motion footage. And then you can slow that down in your editing suite. But the main thing to do is what I do is upscale it by 2 times. And if you're looking for 4K, you can upscale it 4 times. But generally, my graphics card and the amount of time that it takes to export these, 2 times is enough for my purposes. Again, you do need a good graphics card for this, enough to do sort of have a gaming computer. And for each video clip for me and my graphics card, it generally takes about 5 minutes per clip. So you've got to bear that in mind in your workflow. But generally, while I'm upscaling the video clips, I'm also working on other clips to generate using the images at the same time. So you can, if you've got a powerful computer, carry on using your computer at the same time. And then for the Pika clips, you can just use the upscale within the platform. But if you want to go 4K, then you will need to use this type of platform. And this doesn't really distort the image too much. It retains the detail, it just increases the resolution, and I'm generally very happy with it. In the initial phases of creating and storyboarding your shot list, I would really try to focus on establishing a style, a lighting palette, and ensuring that your film has a particular theme. Obviously, you've got your genre, and everything is cinematically being displayed in the visual imagery, because everything's in that initial image through Midjourney. And although you can take it into Photoshop, change the lighting, change it through generative fill, you can Photoshop the images how you want. Ultimately, the last image before you put it into Pika and Runway will be that image that you will be transforming into a video. So it's really important that you keep the same similarity themes. And for this film, what the themes was an undulating sand throughout, and a barren city landscape, and a post-apocalyptic. And I feel as though those sort of terms really shone through in the whole film. I tried to use same terminology in my prompting to ensure that the same themes are reoccurring throughout the films. And maybe your film changes throughout, but for this film I chose one particular theme and visual look. You may want to change your visual look. However, that needs to reflect within the story, a reason why you're doing that. So for instance, your character may be a real human being that gets shrunken down into an animated character, so visually the style will change. But within the trailer, within the short film, within the short film, that visual style will come through, and you'll see a reason within the story for that style to change. So you've created your still images, you've turned them into video clips, you've chosen your soundtrack and your sound effects, and so it's now time to start assembling your trailer in your chosen editing suite. And for this I've chosen to use CapCut, partly because it's free, anyone can download it. There's also DaVinci Resolve, which is free to use, and I do prefer using DaVinci Resolve mainly because of the color grading features that it has in that platform, and that's the one thing with CapCut, it doesn't have quite the same level of detail when it comes to color grading, and for that reason I didn't really color grade this film, but also a lot of the images I did like the color look to. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your images down on the timeline, and you're going to assemble the sound effects and the score, and what you're going to do is place whichever sound effects you want over the top of each individual clip, which I'm sure you're already familiar with. The main things you need to keep an eye out is pacing and making sure that everything feels and sounds professional. It doesn't sound amateurish, especially when you're going to add something like dialogue or narration. So the editing process is going to take a lot of fine tuning. You're going to create clips and want to replace them. You're going to think and chop and change and move them around. But if you've chosen your score and you've created a template in terms of sounds, you can then create your visual effects over the top of it. And then you've got your scripts, your shot list to refer to, and so you can start visualizing and feeling what your film is going to look like and feel like to the audience, and how each image is informing the story. And that's what, most importantly, you want the audience to feel as though you want to watch the film and come away with something, and that feeling of I want to watch that. So the editing process is going to take a lot of fine tuning. You're going to create clips and want to replace them. You're going to think and chop and change and move them around. But if you've chosen your score and you've created a template in terms of sounds, you can then create your visual effects over the top of it. And then you've got your scripts, your shot list to refer to, and so you can start visualizing and feeling what your film is going to look like and feel like to the audience, and how each image is informing the story. And that's what, most importantly, you want the audience to feel as though you want to watch the film and come away with something, and that feeling of I want to watch that. So thank you very much for watching, and this is my first tutorial, and hope you've made it to the end. And 2024 is going to be a very interesting year for AI digital filmmaking content. It's going to be, I think by the end of the year, it's going to blow the socks off of everyone, and certainly already you're able to create short films and short trailers. And so I'm very much looking forward to creating some more films and creating more tutorials about creating these films. And so I encourage you all to subscribe to my channel and share this and like it, thumbs up, and thank you very much. And you can now watch the full trailer.
Humans have long since been extinct. We are their creations. They tried to replace nature instead of living alongside it. Now they have transformed themselves into pure evil. We have to protect ourselves and survive together. Now, we, the guardians of their future, stand amidst the ruins of civilization. This is our story, a requiem for Earth, a testament to what was lost and what must be regained. Our legacy is not written in the stars, but in the choices we make in this endless night. We must fight, we must adapt, and above all, we must find a way to live again in this new era of our own making.